What's up guys, it's Blue, back with you for Heroic Argus this time. With this fight, your talent selection kind of depends on how your tanks are taking phase 3. If your tanks are grouping up some of the adds, then sweeping strikes would be acceptable. If not, or if you're not sure, you're not going to go wrong using Dauntless. It's such a long fight that even if they do group up the adds, having that extra rage for the rest of the fight is going to be helpful. For me, I always run Dauntless. It just makes the rotation smoother for 75% of the fight. After that, you'll be running Double Time, then Trauma. Defensive Stance is a must for this fight. So much raid damage is very useful for when you get Soul Blight to be able to survive that hit. After that, Fervor of Battle in for the kill. Last tier, I'm an advocate for Ravager, but still, Opportunity Strikes isn't a bad pick either. If you pick your preference, you'll do fine. Legendaries are going to be the standard Execute Ring or Mortal Strike Gloves, and if you need to sub one out for Pride As, then you're going to sub out the Execute Ring. During phase 1, when he drops the buff, you're going to always want to aim for Sky, which is the Mastery crit, and that's the dark blue with the lightning bolts going through it. However, if it's dropped in a bad spot and you're unable to get it, take the C buff. Once you get one, continue taking the same buff every time and only swap if you're not able to get the buff that you currently have, because stacking them is definitely more important. Save your Heroic Leap for if you get the Soul Blight Orb, that way if you're backed away and ready to drop the fog out of the raid and he uses Cone of Death, your leap is the only thing that can save you from dying to his cone since you're further out. If needed, use Defensive Stance to survive the damage. If you need to charge to generate extra rage, make sure you stay in line with the cone, that way you're not risking a bad drop of fog on the group. For phase 2, it's important to use Defensive Stance once you're targeted with Soul Burst to ensure that you're able to survive the damage. Again, here I save my Heroic Leap to be able to jump out when the burst duration gets low to maximize time on the target. Use Die by the Sword if your healers are behind and you need to have more mitigation to survive the hit. Also keep in mind, while you do want to be as far as possible for the burst explosion, don't stand on the edge for the entire debuff or you'll get one shot by the dot plus the detonate. Stand near your healers until 3 or 4 seconds remain and then go to the wall, that way they can have you topped off before you get chunked out by the damage. For phase 3, the add at the seat of Monthul top the room is always the melee vulnerable add. This is what you should go to first as an arms warrior. Throughout the phase, make sure you only interrupt the Cosmic Beacon. Interrupting anything will give the add a buff to be immune to all interrupts and leave you unable to interrupt the Cosmic Beacon if you wasted it on a Starburst. This is also the phase that you'll be able to make use of your sweeping strikes if you talent into it, so be aware how your tanks are tanking the weapon adds. If they're tanking both of them near a third add, and you haven't talented, make use of it here to maximize your damage output. Either way, if you aren't using your burst on the melee vulnerable mob, which you should, then the grouped mobs is where you should be using your Ravager burst plus your Warbreaker and Battle Cry. phase 4 when you res, the first thing you should do is refresh your augment rune. After that, you're just trying to burn down Argus as fast as possible and survive. I always save my pot for when execute phase starts to maximize my damage. Make sure that you are switching to orbs whenever they spawn, that way they don't cause too much raid damage. If you aren't being told when to use it, keep an eye on raid health for a good time to help out by using your commanding shout. There's a lot of rage damage going on, especially further into the phase that you get, so it is very important. When you die, make sure you pick up as many orbs as you can while returning to the tree to help out the group. If damage is getting too crazy, use defensive stance and leave it on. It's better to do 10% less damage and be alive than it is to do that extra 10% damage for a short time and then die. This phase is all about your survival, so kill the adds when they're up and avoid as much damage as you can. That's all I have for Heroic Argus. End of the day with this fight, it's about survival. It's a long fight with a lot of damage, so just follow the tips that I gave you and you should be fine. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If not, comment and tell me what you didn't like. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe and I'll see you next time.